All right, greetings. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Awakening. And today we're going to continue talking about dreams, getting back to dreams. Last week we were talking about the breath and the power of the breath. This week we're talking about dreams again in the universal language of the mind. And today we're getting into a powerful symbol that is in a lot of people's dreams. Huge symbol, has a lot of different angles and things to it, so we'll get into all of that. We're talking about animals. What do animals represent when they show up in your dreams? And so, first off, I always want to talk about what dreams represent in general. What are your dreams? Your dreams are messages to you from your inner self. When you go to sleep at night, your consciousness is moving from your physical body into your astral body, and then that's moving off into the dream plane. So when we're dreaming, we're actually existing somewhere else within the subconscious mind, and it's messages to us on how we're using our mind, because that's the environment that we're in, and every thought seeks to manifest, and it's manifesting through the subconscious mind. So the existence of everything that we see, everything that we're experiencing in the environment within the subconscious mind is a thought that we're having. And so it's pretty much what is manifesting, what we are creating within our lives, how we're using our mind to create these things within our lives, these experiences, our environment, who we are, and all of these things can be shown to you on how you're creating these things within your dreams. And the way that this is done is through the universal language of mind. And this is a language of images, because we think in images. If you think right now, if I'll use a balloon, but I mean, if you think of your childhood house that you grew up in, you probably see it in your mind every time you think about it. Essentially, communication is just thinking of images, using words to describe those images, and then the other person taking those words to formulate their own image within their own mind. And that's communication. Well, dreams are pretty much giving more direct communication through the images that they convey to you. How's it going, D. Lucid? Good to see you. Good to see you back. So that's what your dreams are. They're in the universal language of mind. It's a language of form and function. You look at the form and you understand what is its function. And so animals are the form that we're using today. And animals are the function of animals. They're habitual creatures. So they, animals, different types of animals along generations will habitually do the same different things. Squirrels, no matter where I go, squirrels are always doing the same little things, getting nuts and climbing in trees. Dogs are very habitual creatures. You can pretty much go around to just about any dog and it'll freely let you pet it and things. They just tend to do the same things over and over again. And so that's what they will represent within yourself, habitual ways of thinking, because, every image within a dream is connected to a thought. So it's ways that you habitually think. So not necessarily like habits, like, smoking a cigarette is a habit, or, eating chocolate can be a habit, things like that. Gambling can be a habit. Not necessarily like that, but those could be represented by animals, but it's the thinking behind that. So, for me, one strong habit that I've gone through changing and still working with to continue to change is the way that I would think about money. I used to always have a habitual thought of I need more money, or I don't have enough money. More accurately, I don't have enough money. I would get another bill in the mail. I don't have enough money. I wouldn't consciously look at it and say, you know what, I want to consciously think about not having money. I don't have any money. It would just habitually come to the forefront. I would go to a store, and even though I have enough money to buy what I want, all the things that I'm passing that I might like, I don't have enough money for that today. I don't have enough money for that today. I'm not consciously thinking it, but unconsciously, subconsciously, I'm thinking this thought, and it's habitual. It's just happening on its own. I'm not consciously choosing these thoughts. And so that's what an animal will represent, is these habitual thoughts. Sometimes if the animal, if it's a bug or something, then, like bugs and insects and things, those will represent more like smaller habits. Like, you have a habit to, play the music when you get in the car. That's like a small habit. It's not really affecting you very, very much. You get in the car, you just habitually think, oh, I want to listen to some music now. Or somebody sneezes, you just habitually, oh, bless you, or gesundheit, something like that. You're not consciously thinking, oh, I hope that the good Lord blesses them. No, you just habitually think it, but it's not anything major. It's just a small habit. So that's kind of what bugs will symbolize, things like that. And but sometimes you have like bears and lions and tigers in your dreams. Oh my, and so that's gonna represent a stronger habit, a very powerful habit. So for me, that was a bear. It showed up all the time, in threes and different things. I'll get into numbers. Next week, we're going to talk about death in dreams and what that symbolizes. When you die or someone in your dream dies, or you kill someone or someone kills you, or someone else kills somebody else in the dream. We'll get into that next week. But the week after that, we're going to get into numbers and what numbers symbolize in dreams. Very important thing to look at in your dreams. So we'll get into that as well. Welcome everybody just joining in. So we'll get into that, but this week we're talking about animals. And so, like I was saying, bears and lions, tigers, different things like that, very, very powerful animals will represent strong habits, strong habitual ways of thinking. So, for me, that was a very powerful habit of, I don't have enough money. It was strong. It was ingrained deeply within my mind. It took a lot of work to overcome that. That started when I first identified that. It was about 5 years ago. And I still work with it, but I've made a ton of progress just by identifying it. So that's, kind of the first thing you want to do is identify the thought. So whenever an animal shows up in your dream, so it's kind of like people, when we talk about people in our dreams, like 3 things to remember about your dreams is 1, every person, place, or thing in a dream is a part of you. So all these animals, different people, they don't represent anything outside of yourself. They don't represent, the dream's not telling you about somebody in your life, what you should do with them or not do, or, it's all about you. Every single image and aspect is a part of you, and it's reflecting something about yourself. But only you can interpret your dreams. I can share with you what the symbols mean. I can kind of help you piece things together, but only you can tell what this animal represents for you. Only you can tell what this person, cousin Brandon, represents to you. Only you can determine that. So only you can interpret that. I can help you understand that and what to work with that and how to maybe identify that in your life. But only you can truly interpret your dream. So when you have an animal show up in your dream, the first thing you'll want to look at is what are your thoughts about that animal? So like a turtle. Most people, when they think of a turtle, they think of slow and easygoing, but some people might think of, when they first think of a turtle, their first thought is like protection or the shell, so I mean, it's depends on how you view that animal. And then that's going to represent that habitual thing. It'll give you more, oh, okay, so I had a dream about a turtle in my dream last night. It was about 3 different turtles in my dream. Okay, so that is going to be shedding light how you have different habitual thoughts regarding either, being slow and methodical, or being protective or something like that. Dogs for most people, when they think of dogs, they think of loyalty, because dogs are very loyal. You can you can forget about your dog and they won't forget about you. And so dogs will often symbolize loyalty, so or friendship. So whenever a dog shows up in a dream, it'll usually represent, if that's how you see a dog, then it'll represent habitual thoughts that you have of loyalty. So like maybe you're the type of person who, a friend comes and asks for a favor, and even though it might inconvenience you want to be able to give to that friend because you value them and you want them to know you value them. So you go out of your way, put off things for yourself in order to go and help this friend, out of not necessarily, you weren't consciously thinking, oh man, I have to I'm loyal to this friend, I have to show that I'm loyal to them. I'm gonna, you just kind of not consciously think that, but habitually think that. And so that might be why that dog is showing up in your dream. Or a cat, cats, oftentimes people think of cats as like very independent, or, but I mean, some people think that cats are dickheads. So, it depends on how you view them, and it'll represent how you have sort of habitual thoughts in that way. And so you just want to pay attention to that's the first thing you want to do, is look at how you see that animal. What was that animal doing in the dream? And then look at how you have habitual thoughts in regards to that in the context of the other images in the dream. If you have any dreams with animals in it, feel free to, post a comment, ask about it, share your dream, or send a message afterwards if you're watching this afterwards about your dream. So that's kind of what you want to do when an animal shows up in your dream. Is you want to look at, how do I view this animal? What do I? Hey Leslie, how's it going? Good to see you. How do I see this animal? What's the main quality I think of when I think of this animal? And sometimes it's a little easier with animals than with people, but sometimes it can be hard pinpointing, like porcupine. I mean, what do I think of when I think of porcupine? I don't know, but get a friend to just, ask you or write down just different animals at a time, starting with a dog and cat. It was a little easier, and then slowly make your way to porcupine. Practice a little bit with other animals that are easier to identify what you think about them, and then it gets easier to identify that other animal that might be a little harder, like raccoon. Most people think they're like shifty or sneaky, this is just what I think of view of, and kind of what I think most people view them, but you might think different things. You might see a raccoon and think it's cute and cuddly. I don't know. It's all up to you. Only you can interpret that. So you want to look at that and then look at what's going on with the animal in the dream, and how does that relate to how you're using those kind of thoughts, habitual thoughts. And so one of the main things in regards to whatever the animal is, whatever the interaction that the animal is having with that in the dream, what you primarily want to do when an animal shows up is to work on becoming conscious. Because the thing with a habitual thought is that you are unconsciously thinking that thought. And you want to work on consciously thinking your thoughts. So we'll pause there. So D. Lucid said, last animal to show up in my dream was a whale. I felt relieved when I saw the whale. I knew when I turned the corner that one was going to show up. It's a wonderful dream. So a wonderful symbol. So I'll get to that in just a second, because whales are a particular animal. I'm going to go in. There's about 5 different animals that have a particular meaning, and whale is one of them. So I'll get into that in just a second. Here, 20, 30 seconds. Let me just wrap the thought up about wanting to be conscious of your thoughts and being sure. So like with the example of someone being loyal, to a fault, they always say loyal to a fault. That type of person is most likely just habitually thinking that they have thinking thoughts of being loyal to their friends and to their family and things. And so you want to work on being conscious of that. So when an opportunity arises, just take a second, pause, and think, do I want to be loyal to this person in this moment? Can I still be loyal even if I say no? And so think about that. Like for me, when I first started studying astrology and understanding that, me being stubborn, because I've always known I was stubborn, all my parents and uncles and grandparents and always called me hard-headed when I was a little kid. I've always known I was stubborn. But when I understood that through astrology, it's more of an influence upon me, and I've just unconsciously, habitually been stubborn my whole life, I realized I can make a choice about it. And so I started working on, okay, I would realize more and more, I'm being stubborn right now. Let me stop for a second and think, do I want to continue being stubborn in this moment, or do I want to not be stubborn and compromise? And most of the time I would just compromise, but there would be times where I'd be like, no, I'm going to be stubborn. But it was a different way of being stubborn, because I made a conscious choice to do that. I didn't just willy-nilly do it on its own, just kind of being controlled by my thoughts. It was me being in control of my thoughts. I was doing it consciously, to kind of give you an example. So concentration is key. Being able to place your attention upon something and move your attention and hold it there until you're ready to move it to somewhere else. Like right now, I placed my attention back to what I was finishing up, wrapping up. Now I'm going to move my attention back to D. Lucid's dream about a whale. Whales and fish in dreams have a particular meaning beyond just, what do you see this animal as? And so that is because they live in a different realm. They live in the realm of water. And so water represents your conscious life experiences, because water is essential to life. And just like life is continually flowing, the water in a river continually flows, and there's nothing you can throw a rock in there, it'll just flow over it, around it, through, or you can try to go in there and swim against the stream, but the water's going to keep on flowing. So just like life, it just keeps on flowing. So water symbolizes your life experiences in this your conscious life experience in this physical reality. And so with that, fish reside in the water, and so they will represent spiritual knowledge, because from out of your life experiences, you are essentially, the purpose of having these life experiences is to create experiences. That's why the duty of the subconscious mind is to fulfill your desires. As you fulfill your desires, you're creating experiences. As you think, so you become. Your thoughts create your reality, so that you can then, out of that reality, extract different things to learn, different knowledge to receive out of the life experiences. And so fish come from out of the water, whales come from out of the water, and so they will represent that knowledge, that spiritual knowledge within that. So for your dream, it said, you said the last animal show up in your dream was a whale, but you felt relieved when you saw the whale. And when you turned the corner, or you knew when you turned the corner that one was going to show up. So that's going to kind of just symbolize how within your life experiences, because obviously it sounds like you were in the water as well. So you were engulfed within your life experiences, and you were kind of conscious and aware, because seeing things symbolize awareness. Eyes symbolize awareness. Windows symbolize awareness because they allow you to see through them. Light symbolizes awareness because it allows you to see what's going on around you. And so by you seeing the whale and knowing that you're going to see it, it was a way that your life experiences at the time, you knew that you were going to be receiving spiritual knowledge. You were going to increase your awareness of the spiritual knowledge within your life experiences because of the different things that you were doing to create those life experiences. So, at that time, if I had a dream like that, what I would be focusing on is maybe identifying what particular knowledge that is, also identifying the things that I've done in my life recently in order to bring that spiritual knowledge into my life, and then how can I replicate that, to keep it going? How can I redo what I've already done in order to keep that cycle going and receive more spiritual knowledge? It's a beautiful dream. So, but I mean, I think all dreams are beautiful, even ones some people might find petrifying, just because there's still a message contained in that. When you understand that it's for that person and what they're going through, is so key and essential. It's beautiful to me, at least for me. So another thing is birds. Birds, they also live in a different realm. They live within the air. So the air in the sky is going to the upper sky is going to represent the superconscious mind and things, but the birds are going to represent in the subconscious mind, subconscious habitual thoughts. So what conscious habitual thoughts we've been talking about, subconscious habitual thoughts. To go a little deeper into that, we got to understand the power of the subconscious mind, which is intuition. And the reason that the power of the subconscious mind, so like I said, with fish and your life experiences, the purpose of the conscious mind, or the duty of the conscious mind, is to create life experiences. And it's that duty of the conscious mind in order to fulfill the purpose, which the purpose is to then, like I said, extract the knowledge from out of the life experiences, learn something from the life experiences, and then feed that into the subconscious mind. And when you understand and build understandings through the life experiences that you have, these permanent understandings become a permanent part of yourself when you feed it into the subconscious mind. And where they're stored is in the in the Akashic records, is where you're building different permanent understandings, so that so maybe you have an experience in life, and it provides you an experience to understand more about prosperity or abundance. Maybe you understand the principles of prosperity and abundance a little more. You understand the universal law of prosperity and abundance more through the life experiences that you've had. Maybe, like me, you grew up with not a whole lot. Your mom worked 3 jobs and homeschooled you a couple years, just to make ends meet, just to be able to put food on the table. So you didn't really have a whole lot. All your clothes was your cousin's clothes. But through the experiences that you had in life, it provided you an opportunity to learn and understand more about the universal law of prosperity, the universal law of abundance. And so then you you have that understanding to take with you through the rest of this lifetime. But you also have this understanding stored as permanent. When you store it within the subconscious mind, it's permanent. So when this physical body dies off and the conscious mind dies off, the subconscious mind and the soul and the spirit are still remain. They don't go nowhere, so they still remain, and then they still go with you when you incarnate into a new physical body and create a new conscious mind. You still have those understandings within you, those subconscious understandings, those permanent understandings. So the conscious mind is clean, has a clean slate, and being built new as a child, but you still have those understandings with you. So in my next lifetime, I still have that understanding of prosperity, that understanding of abundance. And so when, as a child growing up, you're going to have just habitual thoughts regarding those, coming from those understandings, because those understandings, that's going to be your storehouse of wisdom. Some people are just born wiser than others. I mean, I got some cousins that's wiser than me, and I got some cousins that just aren't. But in different things. We all wise with different things in our own ways, and in our own degrees and own levels. And so that's because of the different understandings that we built up. But so that's what a bird is going to represent, is the habitual thoughts coming from within the subconscious mind, coming from within the soul, that storehouse of wisdom, those understandings that you've built. You aren't consciously receiving these thoughts, it's intuitive, but you aren't consciously accessing it, because you can go in and access the Akashic records and discover these understandings. So it's not that you're consciously retrieving these thoughts, but you're subconsciously receiving these thoughts, this intuition. So that's what birds are going to represent in your dreams. When I first started studying metaphysics like 7 years ago, I started paying attention to my dreams. It for weeks and months, really, like probably the first few years, at least 4 or 5 times a week, I had some sort of major symbology with birds. Either there'd be a 6 foot tall, eagle that I'm flying on its back, or that's happened a few times. But it's all type of things. I remember one dream, I was in an old neighborhood growing up, and we found all these feathers that were like 9 foot tall feathers. And me and my cousins and my friends were all collecting up these feathers. And it's just because I was meditating so much and working with my dreams, that my conscious mind and my subconscious mind were aligning together, which allowed me to receive more intuitive thoughts. It strengthened my intuition, strengthened my relationship with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, to where I was more perceptive and more receptive to receive the intuitive thoughts. And so I was just experiencing more of it. And so that's why the birds were so big in the dream all of a sudden, and recurring daily almost. So that's kind of what birds are going to represent, are these subconscious understandings. So when you have a bird show up in your dream, then you want to focus on the day before, the 2 days before, is where were you having these strong intuitive thoughts, kind of understanding things even though you consciously didn't understand it. That just understanding was received from you. A lot of people in metaphysical communities, spiritual communities, they'll call it downloading, or growing up in the church, they always call it the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit told me, Holy Spirit shared it with me, but it's all the same thing. You can interpret it and call it whatever you want, but it's all the same experience. It's all intuitive, coming from within yourself, because it wasn't nobody outside of themselves telling them, it came from within themselves. So it's all the same. Another one is snakes in dreams. I know a lot of people that have snakes in dreams and so scared of it and things, but a lot of people have snakes in dreams and not scared. Really, America is one of the only cultures in the world that have a fear of snakes. And so snakes in your dream will represent your creative energy, because snakes most often in the entire world represent the Kundalini. You can see that in if you don't believe me, go to any hospital, wherever you at, stop, go to the closest hospital, just drive by, just sit there and wait for an ambulance to drive by, and you will see the staff with the 2 snakes going around it, the Ida Pingala and Shushuma. All 3 of those, it represents the Kundalini going up the spine, spiraling up the spine, because that's the most creative energy available to mankind. It's the most healing energy available to mankind. And it's your creative energy, I could go on and on talking about the Kundalini and the properties of it and things and how it works with the chakras and all that. But, I'll save that for another time, put together some more videos on that. Tonight we're talking about just dreams and snakes. So you just understand that it's your creative energy, the energy that you have available to you to create and manifest things at a much more rapid rate. And when you control that, it's very powerful. So the snake in a dream, you want to look at what is the snake doing? How many snakes are there? Like I said, I'll be talking about numbers in dreams here in 2 weeks. But how many snakes are there? What's going on with the snakes? How are you reacting to the snake? So if you're afraid of the snake in the dream, then that's just going to share to you how you're afraid of your raw creative potential. You know, a lot of people, they, you know, when they begin to understand, wow, my thoughts really do create my reality. That can get that responsibility, because then that bears a responsibility, meaning I'm responsible for everything that I'm experiencing right now. I'm responsible for the person I've become. You know, it's very easy to just have a victim consciousness and place blame on things outside of myself. Well, you know, man, if Tony didn't do that, man, I wouldn't be in this position. You know, if my boss didn't fire me, I wouldn't be in this position. You know, but you've created all that. You've created everything. You know, you've created everything you experience. You create it because we all have, it's part of our divine birthright. You know, we have free will to create whatever we want. And we deserve everything that we've created, good or bad, because we've created it for ourselves. So you want to, you know, not be scared of that potential. But a lot of people are, you know, when they understand, because like I said, it comes with a responsibility with that. But with that responsibility, then you're not at the mercy. So if I put the blame on Tony because something Tony did put me in where I'm at, then it makes me dependent upon Tony to get me up out of it. But no, I have the freedom to be able to get myself up out of it because I placed myself here. I've made myself ill, but I also have the freedom to make myself whole and healthy. You know, I've put myself in these circumstances, but I also have the freedom to get myself out of it and build up something new and create something new and something greater. I've created this situation, and I can also create the resolution and the solution. So your creative potential and creative power is nothing to be afraid of. It's something to be embraced. And so, you know, the reason it's showing up as a snake, because like I said, even though these other ones have particular connotations to how you're going to interpret them and what they represent, it still has the base meaning that it's habitual, because snakes are still habitual. Snakes are going to go see a bird's egg and want to eat it. Every snake. You know, snakes going to go around to the same little spot that his parent and grandparent and great-grandparent went to shed its skin. You know, so it's habitual as well. So it's how you are habitually creating these things in your life, the habitual thoughts that you're having that are creating your reality. You know, because a lot of people, if you think about, you know, like me, I just recently got a great job, beautiful, wonderful. Maybe created a new situation for myself, but I can easily, because that's something I wanted, I can easily see the thoughts that I had that created that. But, you know, if I leave out tomorrow and I get a flat tire on my way to work, then, you know, that's not something I wanted. So that wasn't nothing I was consciously creating. So most of the time when we have things that we aren't wanting manifest in our lives is due to unconscious thoughts that we've had over and over and over again that have created these situations for us to live within. So you want to become more conscious. So I've unconsciously and habitually created something through these habitual thoughts. You know, like when I had a poverty consciousness. You know, like I said before, I started understanding about the universal law of prosperity and abundance, like really working with it, understanding, changing these thoughts for myself, consciously choosing the thoughts to think. I had a lot of unconscious thoughts about not having money or not having enough, you know, and so it was unconscious. I wouldn't consciously do it, so I was unconsciously creating these things. You know, so you just have to work on then switching that and consciously creating the things that you want in your life. You know, so moving on from a snake to dragons. If you see a dragon in your dream, the dragon represents the ego. And now a lot of people, they think that, you know, the ego is something bad or something they have to kill. I got to kill my ego or you know, I got to get rid of my ego. I got to leave my ego behind. Now you need to place your ego behind, but you don't want to leave it behind because the ego is important, you know, and a dragon will represent the ego. You know, the ego, it's your motivating force. You know, your ego is, oh, wait, they just did what? Man, we came from the same neighborhood, grew up in the same city, same circumstances. I want to be able to do that. You know, like I got a friend of mine I grew up with, Barry. I mean, this guy's putting together a bunch of stuff, very prosperous and abundant. But you know, when I see him, you know, I'm happy extremely happy for him. But there are some times where I'm like, man, I should be able to create. You know, when I see him doing that, it just strengthens the belief in me that I can do that. If somebody with the same similar circumstances as me can create something, it just helps me to believe that I can create that, for myself. And so through that, then it strikes my ego, and it motivates me to move forward and take action on things, and begin to take the steps in order to create something for myself, and so your ego is good for that. But the thing is the reason that the ego gets such a bad rap is because whenever you let the ego out front and leading you, because then when the ego leads the way, then you get stuck, then you make that one accomplishment and you're like, oh yeah, look at me, and then you just stuck there standing still. You reach that accomplishment, then you stuck standing still because you're just so worried about making sure everybody sees you and everybody acknowledges where you at. But you got to keep going. You got to keep that ego behind you to keep motivating you to keep going forward. Okay, I made it here, but I also got to keep going here. Like my teachers used to always say, you always got to keep your next goal in your back pocket, because as soon as that goal is complete and done, you got to have it ready to go. Boom. Next step. Yeah, I completed that. Next step. I just finished my book on dreams just last week. You can get it for pre-order on Amazon Kindle, but the paperback will be ready for pre-order here in the next few days. I'll have some on hand by the end of the week. So anybody in Louisville wants some, just let me know. But I've already started the new book. I'm a quarter of the way writing the new book, and I just started on Monday. Because before I even told anybody about the book being done, I've told a few people in conversation. Before I told anybody here, I ain't told nobody on Facebook or Instagram. I ain't ran no promotions or nothing. I haven't gone to the little bookstore that already told me to come back when it's ready. I haven't gone to them and told nobody, but I've already started on the next one because I'm not allowing the ego to be in front, keep it behind me, pushing me forward. Like in Holy Scripture, the devil in the Bible, the devil represents the ego. It's an evolution to it. First, there's the ego will be represented by the snake in the creation story, then the devil in the middle of the story, and then the dragon in the book of Revelations. But in the Bible, Jesus, he didn't kill Satan. He didn't destroy Satan. He didn't, banish him into oblivion. He said, Satan, get behind me. The ego needs to be behind you, pushing you forward, continuing moving forward, motivation. So when you have a dragon in a dream, then you just need to realize what was going on with my ego the day before. So D. Lucid got another dream. Beautiful. I had a dream once where I jumped off a cliff and landed on top of the mouth of a green and black dragon. It flew in a straight upward direction with me still on its mouth and nose. Beautiful. So exactly, the dragon was pushing you forward. It was pushing you upward into the sky, which represents the superconscious mind. You got a lot of stuff going on here, brother. It's beautiful, So, kind of jumping off of that cliff, it sounds like from the connotations of the dream and other conversations we've had previously, it's brief conversations. Sounds like it was more of like not like just a jump to kind of be free. So like when you're flying in a dream, it will represent freedom, taking a leap of faith. And so there was like a leap of faith that you took, to attain freedom, and then the ego was there to move you, push you forward closer into the superconscious mind and harmonize it with the superconscious mind, the divine conscious part of your mind, the part connected to the divine, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. It's a beautiful dream. I had a dream once where with the dragon, where this dragon was, flying through a village. And I had to go and jump upon the dragon's back. Like I was like, all right, next time it swoops down, I'm gonna run over and jump on its back and take control of this dragon so it don't keep destroying this town, this village. So that's what I did. I ran over and jumped on the dragon's back and took off flying, flew it away from the village. And so it was me kind of taking control of my ego because it was kind of out of control and causing chaos and just, destruction and transformation and changing different things, changing my state of mind because my ego was in control. And that was kind of, going on to, I kind of vaguely remember what was going on because I did a lot of work. That dream helped me do a lot of work. But I was kind of falling away from, kind of my purpose with what I was doing. I was kind of mostly just like I wasn't really giving it. Like at the time, I was giving a lot of lectures on dreams and visualization, manifestation, universal laws and stuff. I kind of was getting away from that and, just doing the different stuff, going out to movies or stuff and just going and playing basketball all the time, which is fine. But it was like, I was just wanting to do other things instead of, doing the things that I knew that would fulfill me fully. And so I was like, I gotta grab this by the reins and take control and steer it in the right direction. So that's kind of what I did. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing that you did, except it was, or same thing that occurred for you, except it was things that you were doing that naturally caused the ego, to do what you wanted it to do. I kind of lost control and had to get re-control of it. It sounds like it was just based on things that you were doing in your dream, delusive, that it just kind of was there for you to help uplift you, into a higher state of consciousness, and receive from that. So the last one I want to talk about is horses. Horses in your dreams. So like I said, the universal language of mind is a language of form and function. So look at the form and look at its function. The function of a horse for thousands of years was to get work done. You put a harness on a horse or an ox. You don't have it plow your field. You jump on its back and use it to take you from one place to another. You would harness its power in order to get something done. And so that's like your willpower. Your will and your willpower is what you use in order to get things done. So like the way I define willpower is unceasing actions towards a goal until your ideal is achieved. And so continuous unceasing actions towards a goal that you have in mind. So continually taking steps and taking action on things to reach a goal and not stopping until you achieve what you set out to achieve. And so it's not necessarily, oh yeah, I tried it a couple times, it didn't work. It's continuing to do it, continuing to persist until it can be completed. Because, universal law of infinity, anything is possible. But it's just how much effort and how much work and how much willpower are you willing to get to it, So like another thing I want to talk about willpower is kind of understanding willpower. So a lot of people, I just found when you better understand what willpower is and how it functions, then it's easier for you to use it and utilize it and strengthen it in the moments that you need it. So your willpower, because a lot of times you don't have the willpower. It's like, yeah, I know I should be eating better. I know I should be exercising. I know I shouldn't be spending money on this and that. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I kind of like it. I enjoy it, and I'm kind of lazy, honestly, if I want to be honest with myself. So you have to, when you better understand willpower and how it functions, and what fuels the willpower, then you'll have more of it available to overcome those moments. So what fuels willpower is desire. The stronger your desire for something, then the easier it'll be, the more willpower you'll have to persevere through to achieve your ideal. So like, for instance, 10, I don't even know how long ago, man. I still can't believe that I was this person, but I used to smoke cigarettes all the time. I still don't even know what it's like to smoke cigarettes all day, every day. I'd already smoked 2 by now already in this video. Crazy. But, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I would always, after about like the first 3-4 months of smoking cigarettes when I was a teenager, you don't want to smoke cigarettes no more. I don't know nobody who after the first few months just wants to smoke cigarettes. It's kind of just, you kind of stuck. And you don't, I mean, it's nothing enjoyable. There's absolutely nothing enjoyable about it. A lot of y'all either know or don't know. But, I could never stop smoking cigarettes. I wanted to all the time. I knew it was unhealthy. I knew it was nasty. Sometimes I would sit there and crumble up a whole pack and throw everything with cigarettes out. By the next night or the next day, I'm back in the store rebuying everything. But I didn't have a strong enough desire to overcome that, to be able to have enough willpower. So I didn't have a strong enough desire. So once I did, the way I was able to overcome it was a cousin of mine owned a semi-pro football team. And one day I ran into him at a gas station. He asked me to go play for him. So I was like, all right, I'll go play. And the day of the first practice, I was like, okay, as soon as I woke up that day, I was like, I can't smoke no cigarettes. If I'm be out there playing football with people who play for real, like, I can't be smoking no cigarettes. So I stopped. And, that day in practice, I remember in practice, it was at near the end of practice, and the coach just had us doing these sprints because it was first day of practice. So mostly he just focused on conditioning, getting everybody in condition. So he's doing all these sprints. And after this one, I'm just sitting there breathing heavy. I'm thinking to myself, man, if this man tells us to line up one more time, football ain't for me. This ain't for me. I was going to quit right then. And then as the last people got done, he said, "All right, bring it in, practice is over." It's like, oh, okay, it's for me. And luckily so, or else I'd probably still be smoking cigarettes to this day. And because every time I would think after that practice, every time I would think about smoking a cigarette, I would think, nah, man, if I smoke this cigarette, that means I'm going to get dusted in front of everybody. You know, the ego again. The ego came in and helped motivate me. You know, like, nah, I don't want to be getting dusted by everybody. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be seen as getting dusted and no good, not make the team. You know, so that was a strong desire. You know, my ego became the desire. So it allowed me to then have enough willpower to overcome the physical and psychological and emotional urges that grasp me in order to continue smoking cigarettes. Man, that was the last cigarette I smoked. The day before that first practice was the last cigarette I ever smoked. And I ain't smoked one since. And, you know, different things with that. But it was the desire that you know, had nothing to do with cigarettes, really. It was just the desire of not wanting to get embarrassed on the football field that allowed me to stop smoking cigarettes. So the desire fueled my willpower. But sometimes you don't have a sudden desire out of nowhere available to you. What do you do then? You know, what fuels the desire? And purpose. Your purpose will help you. Understanding your purpose will help you to strengthen your desire, which will then strengthen your willpower. So the more purpose is personal benefit. So the more that you understand and hold in your conscious mind your purpose and how you'll personally benefit from what it is you're wanting to use your willpower to achieve, then the stronger your desire will be in order to overcome the obstacles in front of you that's keeping you from achieving that. So you'll have more willpower to overcome those obstacles to get through it. So that's kind of a little breakdown on willpower. Kind of went, you know, just wanted to just help, you know, have people have you have a little bit better understanding of willpower to maybe help you along. But when you have a horse in a dream, it's going to help you to realize that there's something going on with your willpower, you know, the day before, 2 days before in your life. And what you want to look at, one thing you really want to look at when a horse shows up is what color is the horse? Is it a black horse, or is it a white horse, or is it like a brown horse or something? You know, if it's a black horse, it's going to symbolize that there's an unproductive use of your willpower. You know, kind of like you're saying because willpower is, your will is pretty much making a conscious choice and following through with it. Conscious choices. So if you want to strengthen your willpower, just start making small conscious choices. Like after I get done with this, I'm going to put everything away. Say it out loud. I'm going to put everything away. And then do it, you know, right before here. There's some weeks, y'all, where I don't want to come in and do this little weekly awakening. Just sometimes I'm just wore out. I don't want to do it sometimes. But I sit, and whenever those times come up, I sit there and say to myself aloud, I've told people that I would be available. I will be available, and I will do this. And then I come and do it. I follow through with it. So you want to start out with small things. If you're having trouble with willpower, if you just can see that within all areas of your life or a lot of areas of your life, you don't have enough willpower to slowly build up. You know, when you wake up, I will brush my teeth. You're already going to do it, but just consciously say it and follow through with it. But make sure you following through with it, because you don't want to sit there and say, you know, I will read a chapter of this book today, and then don't do it. You don't want to be driving home and be like, I will go to the gym today, and then get home and sit on the couch and not follow through with it. Because then you're going to have a black horse showing up in your dream, unproductive use of the will, you know, or maybe you have a white horse showing up in the dream. And that's going to show that you're having a productive use of the will. So then look back, when you have a dream like that, look back at how you were using your willpower the day before, because the more you examine that, the more you'll understand how the willpower works and how you have access to your willpower to then be able to utilize that knowledge at a later time when it's not so easy. So you want to kind of look at that. So, yeah, D. Lucy said again, I quit smoking in college because a friend told me I used to always smell good, but now I always smell like cigarettes. So it sounds like you would use the ego to quit too. How other people seeing you, you know, it affected your desire to want to quit. You know, the ego. So we both were able to use the ego to help us strengthen that desire to quit smoking cigarettes. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's what I have on animals in your dreams. If you have more dreams with animals, you know, feel free to send me a message. If you have other dreams that don't have nothing to do with animals, if you just have a question about dreams, you know, feel free to shoot me a question. Feel free to check out the new book, Life is but a dream, understanding yourself through understanding your dreams. It goes a lot deeper into the structure of the mind, how the conscious and subconscious minds work, the different 7 levels of the mind, the 3 divisions of the mind. It goes deeper into the universal language of the mind and understanding that. It goes deeper into, understanding how to interpret your dreams, a huge detailed list of how to record your dreams. There's the 5-day 5-step exercise in the book to help you increase your memory. There's plenty of other steps and different suggestions and tips on increasing your dream recall. Maybe you don't remember a whole lot of dreams, or maybe you don't remember any dreams. This book will help you with that. So it's on pre-order right now. The ebook is on pre-order, available right now on Amazon. The paperback will be available by the end of the week. Like I said, I have more paperbacks on hand to hand out physically for anybody. It's just not $10, $9.99 paperback, $3.99 I think for ebook. And then another book's coming, different things like that. So yeah, check it out. Send me an email, selfawareness3@gmail.com. Check out the website. The book will be available on there as well here soon. I'm working on that right now at awakenwithin.us. Keep track of us with the other videos and things. Every Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern time, we'll be out here with the Dream Walkers. But we got other videos going up, other different things. Like I have a video about to post on light, what light means in the universal language of mind. So keep track at the Weekly Awakening, either on Facebook or Instagram. So I enjoyed it, y'all, tonight. I appreciate the feedback and everybody joining in. Hope you receive something from it. Hope it's able to help you become more self-aware and aid you on your journey in your life. So even just a little bit, that's enough for me. So appreciate it. Love y'all. And I leave you, as always, in peace.